Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Saturday. And first and foremost, as always, want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we know it has been a lot going on as far as trades surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, we all know within the past week, we talked about the Luka Doncic trade. And I know you guys, you did everything. I appreciate you. The likes, the shares, the follows, everything. So here I am back again. And right when I was about to drop a video on my thoughts of Mark Williams coming to the Los Angeles Lakers with the trade for Dalton Knecht and the swap of the pick as well as the 2030 first round pick, lo and behold, we have a breaking news update. If you haven't heard by now, Mark Williams and the Los Angeles Lakers, the Lakers have rescinded the trade based on Mark Williams not passing a physical. And from what Shams is saying and what other media outlets have come forth and said now, reporting saying that it wasn't necessarily his back, but indeed other things that the Lakers had some concerns about. So not so fast. First of all, we got a few things to talk about. First, before we jump into the lack of the Lakers center, which I do have some ideas and some thoughts surrounding that. First, we're going to talk about Dalton Knecht back to the Lakers. I, for one, am happy Dalton Knecht is back. Now, was I excited for Mark Williams to be joining the Los Angeles Lakers? Absolutely, yes, I was. But at the end of the day, he would have created so much pick and roll opportunities, just what he can do with LeBron James and Luka Doncic, how other teams were going to have to defend it. Had a whole video breaking down all the different ways they were going to have to defend it, who the Lakers could have on the weak side and the corner for the threes, the lineup that would have been almost deadly for the Los Angeles Lakers offensively with that pick and roll threat now gone. But Jackson Hayes still does pose a pick and roll threat, as we can still see. He is nowhere near the size of a Mark Williams, but at the end of the day, he does have that athleticism. But we're going to circle back around to that first. But let's just talk about Dalton Knecht. A lot of people would say, hey, my feelings are hurt. And let's not leave out Cam Reddish here. Cam Reddish is coming back to the Los Angeles Lakers as well. More of a veteran, so he's been around, maybe been through something similar, maybe not quite to this magnitude, but we have a Dalton Knecht who is a rookie thinking, hey, I could be a cornerstone to this franchise one day. I'm coming in here lighting it up for three. I'm just a rookie. Here I am. I'm hooping. And lo and behold, I get traded. He did have some up and downs with his minutes. He was pretty streaky. I mean, he started off really well hitting from three. On the games in which he hits, he does hit. But the only problem is his lack of defense out on the wing. That is something that I probably was foreseeing the teams would have picked on in the playoffs. And not saying that he can't end up being a better defensive player, because I think he can definitely get there. Austin Reeves has some work to do still on that side of the ball too, but yet he maintains his minutes as a starter. And speaking of Austin Reeves, we saw him with his career high of 45 points today as the Los Angeles Lakers beat none other than the Indiana Pacers, which was a very pivotal game, putting the Lakers in fourth place, just in case you didn't notice, still holding on with that 5-game win streak, even without Anthony Davis throughout these past 5 games, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, past 5 games, yes, without Anthony Davis. And we're going to talk about Anthony Davis too. Anthony Davis had a marvelous game today, starting out with the Dallas Mavericks, and you was like, hey, man, this is the AD we are going to miss. Look what he is doing with the Dallas Mavericks. But unfortunately, Anthony Davis, and hey, one of the reasons I'm not saying this, but during LeBron James' tenure, while Anthony Davis has been here, we know LeBron suffered a high ankle sprain a few years ago before that Phoenix series, and ultimately the Lakers, we won't go through the history of why it didn't work, but only one championship in the last tries with the Los Angeles Lakers as they dealt with a bunch of injuries, not making any excuses. But at the end of the day, Anthony Davis, he has played a lot more, and I'm not trying to take credit away from him. He has been a lot more durable, but at the end of the day, we know he still has some things going on with his Achilles that could end up being detrimental to him in the next couple of seasons. Who knows? I'm not praying for his downfall, nor am I predicting anything, but if he has had that, we all know that that's what that can lead to, a torn Achilles or a ruptured, Lord forbid, not that for Anthony Davis, but goes down today on what appeared to be a groin injury. But the injury he was coming back from was an abdomen injury. So it's like all in that area. And that's something that takes a while to come back from. Just in case you guys forget, LeBron James, who knows, maybe not when they ever even got AD, if it wasn't for the groin injury that he suffered on Christmas Day against the Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry led Warriors back on Christmas Day, and I believe that was 2019, if I'm not mistaken, in LeBron James' first year with the Los Angeles Lakers, and they was up by 30 on Christmas Day, taking it to them with the young team of Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and LeBron James, who were in fact hooping and were, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, go check it out, I'm pretty sure, were the 4th seed during that time. So the season had went by. You know, it was Christmas. They were moving on into the later stages of the season, moving up to All-Star break, and they were starting to gel. But lo and behold, LeBron James went down with a groin injury, missed quite a bit of time. I think the Lakers went 5-18 in his absence. Lo and behold, taking them way down out of the playoffs. He tried to come back and activated playoff mode. By this time, it was too late because Magic Johnson had already plastered all over the news that he was trying to trade all these young players for AD, which ultimately did happen. But I think that young team gave up on LeBron James when he came back, and they could not develop enough chemistry to get to the end of the season. But like I said, we're not talking about the past. So going back to what I was saying, I think Dalton Knecht's young mind, when he gets back to the Lakers and he comes into practice, you know, they're just going to tell him the truth. Look, it is a business. Have your head on a swivel. Unless you are a franchise player, which you are not, you are still a role player. We still believe in you, but this is something we need to do to improve the team. You were still young. We were still putting you in a good opportunity, and, you know, we were making a move for ourselves, but now you are back. Embrace the role. Excel at it. Let's see how great you can go out there and be. Everything happens for a reason, so now you are back. Let's see what we can do. Now, let's just talk a little bit about who the Los Angeles Lakers, because I'm telling you right now, this move does hurt the Lakers. And although I didn't want to see Dalton leave, at the end of the day, I did want to see the Lakers improve at the center, because they definitely need to. Because I, for one, people who think LeBron James and Luka Doncic cannot play together, I've already talked about that. If you haven't seen the scene last show, we might talk about that again on Monday. But because I think that's when Luka will be making his premiere, if I'm not mistaken. But going back to what I'm saying, the Lakers still need something better than a Jackson Hayes at center. Although Jackson Hayes has been hooping, but he is not going to do what he needs to do on the defensive end, especially if they end up going against a team like the Denver Nuggets. There's really nobody who can guard Jokic, because he's still probably the best player, or if not one of the top 3 best players in the world, as we all know, with his abilities of what he can do on the offensive end. But he's not so great at guarding the pick and roll, and that's why it was going to be great to have somebody like Luka who can get him in mismatch on the pick and roll, get him to press, switch, and still would hurt them, because the Lakers have length on the perimeter. And still, even with Jared Vanderbilt, I don't want to be all over the place here. We could talk more about this Monday. So let me just get into this. Lakers, who the Lakers could potentially look at in a buyout market comes to mind is maybe a Kelly Olynyk comes to mind. Maybe a Larry Nance, who LeBron has played with, comes to mind, who can just be a body out there, a defensive presence, a lob threat, nothing near the level of a young Mark Williams. But at the end of the day, they do need more bodies out there. Who knows when Christian Wood will be back? He is not great on defense. He can stretch the floor a little bit, but let's look at somebody like a Colin Castleton, somebody who the Lakers already had on the roster. The Lakers are quite familiar with him. Ultimately, he ended up going to the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies waived him out in January, and he is out available on the market. I'll put him at number 5. Number 4, I say Mo Bamba, who was recently traded to the Utah Jazz. They waived him. He is another big man that the Lakers is familiar with because he did play with them for a short stint just a few short years ago. And I, for one, hate that Mo Bamba ended up with some injuries that actually end up leading to his trade, I believe, because he never really got a chance to play latter part in the season, because he came after the trade deadline, if I'm not mistaken, and he didn't really get a chance to play in the playoffs because of the injury, and lo and behold, he was shipped out. But Mo Bamba is a sizable big man who's not the best of defenders, but he is a body, and that's what the Lakers need. He can be somewhat of a lob threat, but he's also one of those centers who's able to stretch the floor and hit threes as well. This year in the 28 games with the Clippers, he averaged 4.6 points, 4.3 rebounds. The other player who I find very interesting, who I think the Lakers should be able to take a good look at, is somebody who's already in the California area, and that is none other than Alex Len. Lakers fans should be familiar with Alex Len because he, of course, played for the Sacramento Kings, and they went against the Lakers plenty of times throughout the past few seasons. And I, for one, like the way Alex Len played whenever he got his minutes after backing up Sabonis. He's somebody who can hit threes as well, but he crashes the board and plays hard. I was surprised to see him actually wave, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are saying that he's headed to the Indiana Pacers, but perhaps Rob Pelinka could convince him to stay in Southern California now that the Lakers will have a still need for center since the Mark Williams trade did not go through. Damian Jones is another player that the Lakers are familiar with. I liked how Damian Jones played with the Lakers. Of course, he is not really on that level, but you know what? One thing I do want to say before I say the last and final person that I think that the Lakers really should, that I think the Lakers really would have a chance with as far as, being a good center in the buyout market. I would like to say this. I almost gave it away. Christian Koloko, we have to remember, Christian Koloko won the Pac-12 Most Improved Player of the Year. He won the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, so obviously he can play defense. He hadn't had an opportunity to play a whole lot with the Lakers. He's in his limited minutes. From what I've seen, he's played well. I think he could actually become a better player, and I would prefer him probably over Jackson Hayes if he were to continue to get minutes as a true center threat, because he does play better defense than what Jackson Hayes will provide, and he is a little bit bigger of a body. So I think with Luka Doncic out there, Koloko could really become more dangerous on the offensive side, as well as when LeBron James out there. But one thing I want to say about LeBron James and Luka Doncic together, people don't understand. With the way LeBron James is, you saw how he played the other night against the Golden State Warriors. You can have LeBron James out on the floor, and then when LeBron James, you can stagger their minutes. It's no better way. If you're saying, well, they can't play off the ball, they can't play together. What if they stagger their minutes? At all times, you either going to have LeBron James on the floor or Luka Doncic on the floor. What is that going to do for other opposing teams? Do you understand what I'm telling you? I don't care who out there for center, because the Lakers are going to score. And the only teams that really pose a threat at center who could cause some mismatches for the Lakers would be that of the Boston Celtics with Porzingis. But you saw what the Lakers did a couple weeks ago, and I know Anthony Davis played in that game. But just in case you didn't notice, the Lakers played somewhat Anthony Davis off ball, more so went to a zone, and the Lakers were still finding success, just like they just did against Karl Anthony Towns and the New York Knicks with the lack of Anthony Davis. So I just throw that out there. But last but not least, the number one center that the Lakers could potentially target in this buyout market is none other than Daniel Theis. The Thunder waived Daniel a couple of days ago to open up a spot on the roster. And with limited options, the Lakers could swoop in on this veteran center. Theis has played 38 games for the Pelicans this season, 9 as a starter. He's only averaged 4.5 points, 4.5 boards a game. But at the end of the day, he probably has seen the most action out of all these prospects, except for that maybe of Larry Nance. Theis is 32 years old. But any one of these players, Daniel Theis, I won't say I'm not big on Damian Jones. I like Mo Bamba as a 7-footer. I think that would be good. But like I said, give Koloko a chance. See what he can do. That's why we went out and acquired him. He had the injuries early on in his career, so he still has to prove himself. I say give the man a chance. He looked good the other night, and I'm telling you what, Christian Koloko, if given the opportunity to play with players such as Luka Doncic, who knows, he could flourish. He definitely plays better defense, and then you still got Jackson Hayes, who is still a lob threat. But when you play a center of opposing team, like say the Lakers end up going against Dallas and Anthony Davis is going to eat, because there's no way in the world that a Jackson Hayes could guard him. You could potentially put Koloko on him, but we know Anthony Davis, he is going to crash the board. But we know Anthony Davis like to take a lot of 15 to 7-foot elbow shots. But who knows? Anthony Davis might not even be back in time for the Dallas Mavericks to make the playoffs, because with him injured, and with this groin injury, I think he will be out for a while. How long do you really expect for the Dallas Mavericks to hold on while they're dealing with other injuries to Gafford as well on their lineup? So at the end of the day, I still like the Lakers' opportunity. As you can see, the Grizzlies took an L tonight. The Rockets took an L. The Lakers have moved up to fourth place. The Denver Nuggets are currently beating the Phoenix Suns without Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal tonight. So I would imagine that they hold on to that 3 spot. But if the Lakers can continue in their winning ways, we shall see what they should do when Luka comes back. Right before All-Star break, the Lakers have a 1-1 against the Jazz. I think at the Jazz and home against the Jazz, 2 very winnable games to keep the Lakers in prime position as they continue to separate from other teams so they can maintain a top 4 spot and have a home court advantage and a better seeding than what they had in a long time. And lo and behold, everybody who talked bad about J.J. Redick and his coaching earlier on in the season when the Lakers hit a little bit of a losing skid, what do you have to say now? Rob Pelinka's gone out and acquired Luka Doncic. I think the Lakers are going to be very dangerous on the offensive side. The way LeBron James is playing right now, he's turned on another gear. I think he's excited to have Luka. I think they've always wanted to play together in a sense. We could talk more about that in the coming days and coming shows. We got all season to talk about it. If you haven't done it already, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. And as always, this has been your boy B New. I'm saying right on to the real and much love to these haters. I'm out.